Let's now take you to Zambia, where Education Minister Douglas Kalima has reiterated that 30,000 new teachers will be in the classroom next year in order to address the teachers' deficit. Now, Mr. Kalima says despite doubts from a section of society, government remains committed to recruiting new teachers.
Well, he disclosed that currently there is a deficit of about 4,500 teachers, a situation his ministry is committed to addressing. And joining us this morning to look at this matter is Mwiya Mukumbuta, who's the Zambian journalist. Now, Mwiya, good morning to you. Welcome to Breakfast Central. Looks like, does it free education, translate in terms of bridging the inequality gaps that exist within Zambian system there?
Well, thank you very much, colleagues, for hosting me. So, Zambia is one of the countries in the sub-Saharan Africa that has the levels of inequalities in terms of the rich and the poor not having equal access to education. So now, this country, during this year's election, the now governing party, the Party for National Development, through its leader, President Hakainde Hichilema, made various pronouncements in terms of ensuring that the marginalized, the poor out there in society can have access to education which is affordable through various reforms, because one of the issues that he tackled out or that he highlighted himself was that he was a product of free education from a country that has been imbued with the numerous challenges that are centered on education. So he's a person who was offered bursary schemes at the University of Zambia. He's a person that was sponsored from a rural setup arrangement in his village. So he foresaw that due to the benefits that he had during his growing time, it was prudent for him as president to ensure that the benefits that were being given in the 80s, in the 70s, to young people who were intellectually gifted, they are provided also in this 21st century. So that's how far now the president is now actualizing these pronouncements or these pledges by announcing that from early childhood to about secondary school, pupils will no longer pay user fees. What will happen here is that parents will only be placed with the burden of ensuring that they buy uniforms, they buy school shoes, school books. Those are the issues. So now, getting back to the question, how would this narrow the gap? Indeed, this will ensure that the people who are in the rural areas are going to be provided with the quality education that they need. Now, that will be through employing of teachers. This country has had a wider gap in terms of teacher-pupil ratio. You find that in this particular school, there's only one mathematics teacher against 300 students. Okay, this particular school has only 2 teachers for science against the very same particular figures I've given you. So now, what would this entail is that the teacher-pupil ratio will be narrowed down. There will be more teachers will be more now centered in terms of having that personal relationship with the pupils.
Right.
And now,
Now, Mwiya, you talked about the rural areas. Now, a lot of Zambians, especially those in the rural areas, they find themselves as dropouts due to lack of funds. Can you tell us how this initiative will address such a challenge?
Okay, so this initiative will ensure that those who have failed to progress to higher levels of education are catered for. This is in view of the fact that if you progress from one grade to another, you don't have funds to pay. The government has come in, so it is invested. Boys and girls will be enabled with the necessary skills that they will go back to school. And not only that, again, there's a scheme which will ensure that no one is going to be paying the examination fees. Now, this has also been one of the sticking points, because most of parents used to fail to pay examination fees for their children, hence increasing to the number of children who are dropping out of school. And also one interesting issue which you might be interested to know is that in as much the country introduced the re-entry policy, where a young girl who falls pregnant comes back to school, but also it has been an issue in that that particular family, a girl who had fallen pregnant, now there's that extra responsibility to look after the child, hence the income to pay for that particular child who has a child now, reduce the number of girls again in schools. So now with this free education, it will ensure that everyone goes back to school, whether you are a mother at the tender age or you are not. So it will really ensure that the vulnerable go back to school again.
All right, thank you so much, Mwiya Mukumbuta, Zambian journalist based in the contrast. Look at this Zambian education reform, at least to bridge the gap between the haves and the have-nots. Thank you once again, Mwiya.